I'm a British female. I love this country and I give this country. Now you're calling me a problem. I don't think I am. I think you are. Second point is, as a Muslim female, okay, my parents might not...
But do not mix up somebody, a thug, a racist, and so on, attacking somebody in a street with the right of Fleming and me to say what we see in the Quran, what we think of Muhammad, and maybe even asserting our right to say so.
Okay, all right, now...
Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be checking out another interesting video by Douglas Murray, which titled, "This is Not Racism. Douglas Murray leaves young Muslims speechless on free speech." Wow. I believe this is going to be very educative. Let's start with the video. Go.
You are about to see Douglas Murray tell the truth as it is. Douglas Murray breaks the silence on immigration and speaks what is on everyone's mind. In the following clip, Douglas Murray educates a young Muslim student. Douglas Murray did not hold back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tariq says that Europeans associate Islam with violence. There is some truth in that. There is also a very obvious reason for that, which is that Islam is associated with violence. It was not Buddhists who flew planes into the Twin Towers. It was not Hindus or Jews that blew up the London Underground in buses a few years ago. And that simple fact has to be acknowledged if you're even going to start a dialogue. Now, what is happening, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a pantomime. I'd argue that Europe has done not too badly, considering the circumstances. In the middle of the last century, there was an almost negligible Muslim presence in Europe. At the turn of the 21st, in Western Europe alone, there were 15 to 17 million Muslims. That's a very fast migration, ladies and gentlemen, one of the fastest in human history. And no society would find it easy to deal with that kind of migration. As it happens, European societies, Western European societies have, I think, dealt with this much better than some would. Certainly, Muslims coming to live in Britain and in Western Europe enjoy more rights and better rights, among them freedom of worship, than they do in any Islamic country in the earth here today. We do have a problem. We have a problem when the failures of Islam throughout the world, the failures of all Islamic societies, come here into Britain. Their intolerance of freedom of conscience, their intolerance of apostates, their intolerance of freedom of expression and freedom of speech, their intolerance of minorities, other religious minorities, sexual minorities, their intolerance of gays, their dislike and distrust of half of the population, women, and many, many other things. And the call, what's more, for a parallel legal system within Britain and European societies. This is monstrous. No other group behaves like this, asks for parallel laws. This is a fundamental problem, and it's one we're going to have to deal with. It's a problem between a society, Western Europe, that believes that laws are based on reason, and Islam that believes that they are based on revelation. Between these two ideas, I'm not sure there is very much compromise for Europe. It is not Europe that has let down its Muslims, but the Muslims of Europe that have let down Europe. This is not solely something which we have to say we can never reconcile. Of course we can reconcile this, but we need to be honest about it. We need to be frank about it, and we cannot avoid things just because they are unpleasant. And if there were one thing I would wish Muslims in Europe could learn today, as fast as possible, it would be this: that you have no right in this society not to be offended. You have no right to say that because you don't like something, you can commit violence, or you would like something to be stopped or censored. You have no right to have more hate laws, or hate crime laws, or hate speech laws, just to defend Islam. You have to realize, the Muslims of Europe have to realize, that a society in which even your deepest feelings can be trodden upon is the only society worth living in. And the sooner we can learn that, the sooner that Islam can learn that within Europe, the better. It is not Europe that has failed its Muslims. It is Islam that has failed Europe. I'd argue Islam has failed its Muslims. Thank you.
Douglas Murray brings attention to the rapid and unprecedented migration of Muslims into Europe, a phenomenon that no society can easily absorb in a short period. This mass migration is one of the fastest in human history, and it's understandable that it would bring significant challenges. Despite these challenges, European societies have made commendable efforts to accommodate these new arrivals, providing them with rights and freedoms that are often lacking in their countries of origin. Europe's approach to integration has been notably generous. For example, countries like Germany and Sweden have welcomed large numbers of refugees, offering them housing, education, and healthcare. This level of support is a testament to Europe's commitment to human rights and dignity. In contrast, many Islamic countries, even wealthy ones, have been less willing to take in refugees, highlighting a stark difference in approaches. However, integration is not a one-way street. While European societies strive to be inclusive and supportive, it's equally important for Muslim communities to adapt to the values and norms of their new homes. This means embracing core Western principles such as freedom of expression, gender equality, and secular laws. These values are fundamental to European society and are essential for maintaining social cohesion and harmony. Statistics support Murray's concerns about integration. For instance, studies have shown that second-generation immigrants in Europe often experience higher unemployment rates and face greater challenges in education compared to their native counterparts. This indicates that integration efforts need to be more robust and that immigrant communities must engage more actively in the process.
Young lady here with the headscarf, and then we'll come to our panel.
I'm a British female. I love this country and I give this country. Now you're calling me a problem. I don't think I am. I think you are. Second point is, as a Muslim female, okay, my parents might not let me go somewhere late at night because people are racist to me. They tell me to go back home and they hurt me. I got hit by 2 white guys and they laughed at me because I'm a scarfy, okay? Last point is to Mr. Fleming, about the point where you said about the religion, changing religion. Every person has the right to. No one says anything about that. But if you had a daughter or a son that wanted to become a Muslim, would you be happy about that? I don't think so.
Douglas, I want to ask you, you heard some of the people from the floor there, the woman complaining about attacks on her because she's described as a scarfie because she wears a head veil. I mean, that is something that you would regret. I mean, that doesn't promote social cohesion, does it?
Nobody thinks that any physical attacks or any such thing could be a good thing to happen. Of course not. Of course there are. Let's make sure we're right.
She's talking about prejudice
exists in society. Let's just be absolutely clear as an audience. Prejudice undoubtedly exists in this society. It exists across racial groups, including from minorities to other minorities, after all, which is one of the things we see increasingly in Britain these days. And it is also the case that people, in particularly famously lower socioeconomic groups, are likely to feel hatred for other groups. That is one of the things that has to be tackled, and everyone, I think, in this hall, I'm sure, we're in agreement that that should be tackled. But do not mix up somebody, a thug, a racist, and so on, attacking somebody in a street with the right of Fleming and me to say what we see in the Quran, what we think of Muhammad, and maybe even asserting our right to say so.
Okay, all right, now...
I completely agree with Douglas Murray on this one. Freedom of speech is the cornerstone of Western civilization. It allows people to express their ideas, challenge prevailing norms, and foster innovation and progress. However, this freedom also means that people will inevitably encounter opinions and expressions that they find offensive. The appropriate response is not to demand censorship or special protections, but to engage in dialogue and debate. A notable example of the clash over free speech involves the publication of cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad. These cartoons, first published in a Danish newspaper in 2005, sparked global protests and debates about the limits of free speech. While many in the Muslim community found the cartoons deeply offensive, the broader Western response emphasized the importance of protecting the right to free expression, even when it is controversial or provocative. Statistics show that societies that uphold freedom of speech tend to be more innovative and economically prosperous. According to the World Economic Forum, countries with strong protections for free speech, such as the United States and those in Western Europe, often rank higher in global innovation indices. This correlation underscores the value of maintaining a culture where ideas can be freely exchanged. Prominent figures have supported Murray's stance. For instance, Salman Rushdie, who faced death threats over his book, The Satanic Verses, has consistently argued for the importance of free speech. Rushdie contends that giving in to demands for censorship only emboldens those who seek to suppress dissenting voices. He emphasizes that a free society must stand firm in defending the right to critique and question all beliefs, including religious ones.
Wow, what an interesting debate. I think it was a little bit heated. And from Douglas Murray point of view is that everyone has to have the freedom. Everyone has to have freedom of speech. When someone says something you don't like, you don't have to classify it as racism, or you don't have to classify it as an hate speech. Instead of you to classify it as a hate speech, or you should resort to violence, it's better you engage in dialogue with the person. That if a society is to flourish, if a society is to flourish, there has to be freedom of speech. Everyone have to be able to critique anything they don't accept. So I think I accept Douglas Murray point of view, just like he have said in this video that in Europe and Britain, they are one of the highest country that accept immigrants, and they do that wholeheartedly by providing housing and support for the immigrants, which according to Douglas Murray, which no other Muslim country are doing. So I really commend Europe and Britain for that. And so what Douglas Murray is trying to say in this verses, that in this debate, that a lot of Muslim resort to violence, and some tribal thing that they supposed to be able to accommodate. They see it as hate speech, or they see it as racism. Some of them might say you are being Islamophobic. Some they might say you are being Islamophobic. But if a society is going to flourish, there have to be exchange of ideas. Everyone have to have the right to speak their mind. Everyone have to have the right for freedom of speech. That's what Douglas Murray is trying to defend in this debate. Just like the lady rightly say that that she tried going out at night, and at the end of the day she was attacked and she was called a scarf lady. I believe Douglas Murray tried to address that he's not supporting that if anyone is doing that is totally wrong. It's totally wrong. But in a society we have to understand that there are some atom of violence that you see. Sometimes you see people can be attacked, regardless of you being a Muslim, regardless of you being a Christian. Sometimes you might find yourself in an environment whereby you can be attacked by thugs. So because you have been attacked by thugs, you don't have to classify it as racism or as Islamophobic. That because you are a Muslim, or because you are a Muslim, that's why you are being attacked. You don't have to generalize it. You don't have to generalize it. Things like this happen in the society. And I've really learned a lot from Douglas Murray listening to him in this video. Just like he rightly say, the fact that Britain accommodates a lot of immigrants, and they give them they support them by providing houses and every other thing they need. So when different people are coming from different countries into Britain or Europe, I believe those people coming into Europe, those people coming into Britain, they have their own culture. They have their own culture. They have their own culture. And so when they get to Britain or they get to Europe, they have to be open-minded to be able to accommodate Britain culture. They don't need to bring their culture into Britain or bring their culture into Europe and enforce it on the people. Instead, they have to be ready to be open-minded. They have to be ready to accept the country culture in which they are, instead of resorting to violence. And sometimes it's better when you are not okay with something, you should engage in a dialogue instead of you calling that an hate speech, or calling someone that or saying they are becoming Islamophobic. It's better once you are treated in a certain way and you are not okay the way you are treated. It's better you engage in debate. It's better you engage in dialogue to be able to address the issue instead of you concluding that instead of you concluding that it's an hate speech against Islam, or you saying they are becoming Islamophobic. I think that's totally a fallacy. So I believe in a society, everyone should be able to engage in dialogue so there can be understanding. Wow. I've really learned a lot from Douglas Murray. So I also like to hear your opinion. Keep the comments coming. Don't forget, click on the subscribe button, click on the like button. This video was actually gotten from Modern Wisdom channel. Kindly visit his channel to support him. Do have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah.